All right, I got a lull in the weather for a minute, so I figure I'd give these guys a pop, right? So we got the fiskars. Everybody knows it worked good, blah, blah, blah. So these are ash. Look at that. God dang, that son of a bitch is good, ain't it? It's just good. There's no getting around it. No getting around it. That son of a gun splits. Splits like a son of a gun. It's annoying. I don't like it. I don't like it. So, we all know that thing splits. This stuff's been sitting out for, I guess, about a year or two. Man, it just feels different. There's nothing to grab onto it. Like there's no palm swell at all. Right? I don't know. Alright, let's first swing with the old Japanese craftsmanship. Ooh. Well, I don't know. Maybe that had a little bit of a seasonal advantage. Because that was on the end. That was the end round. Oh, look at that, man. Look at that. Look at that. Son of a biscuit eater. Look at that, man. I'm glad I took pictures of it before that crack beforehand. Ain't that some shit? Well, damn. Why would they do that? Make it so tiny. But whatever. It don't matter. We'll get something around up here. That's a little bit narrower. God dang it. Well, that's some bit splits. God, it's light. And you had a real big round. I mean, it's just cruising through there and it's sticking in that bottom round. Like it's not there. I can't believe that's some of the gun. I mean, I didn't overstrike it at all. That's it going through the wood. That's it going through the wood and catching on its way through. Alright, let's do that, my chainsaw was cutting crooked yesterday. That's what my rounds look like crap. I had to sharpen them up. It's fine now, but it was cutting like crap. You think about going and picking up a couple used saws today, but I don't know if I want to get out in this crap. It just splits. I tell you, that dadgum for if you're in hardwood like oak, ash, stuff like that, if you're out here in the east, for $75 that council tool. And the thing is I've split quite a bit with it. Never sharpened it. Never sharpened it. And man, it's in good shape, right? I mean, Graham, I'm not hitting nails and stuff with it, but it splits. And it's holding edge. Come on, get out of there. It don't hang up bad, which is nice. Oh, that was an overstrike. That was my fault, but look. I overstruck that. Not a damn thing. Nothing. And it's probably honestly that oak more than anything. I don't know. Don't know. Don't know. But I tell you what, if bad boy splits, you put a a better handle on him, give it some meat up there. I mean, it's fine. I mean, all axes that are narrow in that eye, but I don't know why maintain that narrow portion all the way, you know, 6 or 8, well, about 8 inches down that handle. That just doesn't make any sense. Let's see here. Man, I tell you what though, I like splitting with it. I like splitting with it. I like splitting with it. It doesn't look like the crack's gotten any worse, but I mean, I've only split a couple rounds with it. Man, that's stuck in there a little bit. I don't know. The handle, I will say that ease of splitting, to me it's right in there with that fiskars. And I've been splitting with that fiskars for a long time. So, yeah. Now, there's a reason though. Look, I went so, it glides through wood so easily it cracked the block below it. There's a split in it now. I can split that in one whack now. There's a reason that when you look at these German ones, at one point it said American hickory on it. I've sanded it off, but anyway, it's one of these sides. It said American hickory, and there's a reason. I don't like that axe. I think it's too chubby. There's a reason that these companies, even in, or I'm sorry, not Japan obviously, but like Germany, and then there's the Brandy brand. I think they're Spanish, and they use American hickory, and it just, I even think like Gransforth Brooks uses American hickory. I could be wrong on that. But the vast majority of them use our hickory because it's the best, and that's all there really is to it. Now, I've made stuff out of ash, but it wants to split a little bit more, very similar to this. And I'm not saying oak isn't a good wood to use. It's just not as good. And in this case, it's so, I mean, is that it just being brittle? I don't know. I'm pretty displeased with that. I'm not gonna lie. I don't know why you would carry that square eye on the handle all the way down here, unless it's meant to, when you do overstrike, it's easier to, you can just cut that part off and rehang it really quickly. I'm not entirely sure. Ouch. That might be why, but just make it beefy in the first place, you know what I mean? I mean, it's a good looking axe. And it splits like the dickens. I mean, even on the ground, I like stuff up close, but so that's on the ground, so I'm losing a lot. And people say, "Oh, you gotta have it on the ground." Nope. Put it on a block, so the ground can't absorb all that extra energy, and it goes into the wood. Yeah, there's a knot in this one. That's why it's behaving this way, which is fine. See, I overstruck that. The problem is, you know, honestly, you should be able to make a mistake. And not ruin your tool or have to rehandle it. I guess the head doesn't care. There. Right through him. Right through him. That's a pretty big knot. Most of the time. Ugh. Ash don't have as many knots. There we go. But anyway, it's a splitting son of a gun. I will give it that, but the handle sucks. Let me wipe this off. The handle sucks. So, I don't know. I don't know what to tell you. Does it split? Absolutely. Is it fun to split with? Absolutely. Are you sitting there now? I'm sitting there wondering, like, oh shit, is this thing gonna break now? You know what I mean? And you shouldn't have to worry about it. And it wasn't inordinately expensive. Dang it, some of the splits though. But ash is easy to split too. Let me get some of that. Get a piece of this hackberry over here. Alright, now this is hackberry. Don't crack on me, because this stuff isn't fun to split. I got this stuff for firewood. I don't know, y'all. So, I'm gonna piece it off. There we go. Hackberry is just a wacky wood. It burns alright. It seasons fast. You can cut it in the summer and burn it in the winter. If you're cutting it split. There it is. So, that's the nice thing about it. So yeah, you can piece it off. Everybody knows the fiskar splits. We don't have to revisit that. We don't care about that anymore because we know it splits. So, I didn't overstrike. It just split funky. And it stung my hand. I guess you could call that an overstrike. But again, you should be able to a degree without damage. I mean, if you're some big giant dude, 260, 6'6", 260 or something, 250, this ain't for you. Because you're snapping. A guy like me, 6'2", 160, 65, maybe 170 on a good day with my boots on. Don't stick horrible, but hackberry's a sticky wood. I think it sticks just about everything. But the one thing I don't like about it, this axe rather, not the wood. The wood's just the wood. Is that part of that eye where that handle starts. I will say, and this is the wood. This isn't the axe. This, it being sticky like this, it'll stick anything. It'll stick that fiskars. This stuff's just a funky ass wood. Anyway, so here's the consensus is, does it split? Absolutely. It splits really beautifully. Is it fun to swing? Absolutely, it's fun to swing. Is it relatively inexpensive? No. It's not really good value. Mainly because I think that, where'd it go? We all know that the fisker splits like the dickens, but so does this. And the thing is it can double as a feller's axe if you're big or strong. Hickory handle. The edge, the steel is proved to be quite good. There's one little nick right there, right in the tip. I might have caught a rock in the dirt or something. But anyway, the steel seems really good. It's hung awesome. The grain orientation is quite good. And it splits quite well. And it's 75, I think it was like $76 or something from Whiskey River Trading or something like that. This splits like the dickens. I think it splits better than this one. I think it's on par with that Fiskars, honestly. It splits better than that. But the fact that when I drove that wedge in, that you have to drive in, the handle cracked. There's obviously a weak point here where they drill into that and put that, I don't know, some kind of little nail or whatever, and it's also started to walk out. See that gap I don't think was there. I'm not really sure. But yeah, man, I don't know. And then the fact that I didn't overstrike it, but it just tore a freaking chunk out of that. That's just unsat. That's not cool. But man, it splits awesome. It really does. And then, grain orientation's good, yada yada. But I just don't think that oak is the right material. And then it needs some kind of palm swell down here. I feel like if you were sweating, you could lose this thing pretty easily. Because there's nothing. And it's too smooth. It's like they sanded it to 320 or something like that, and they should have left it at 120 or 220 tops. That's what I did this one at. Was I think I did it at 120, and it's perfect. It may not look as good, but it feels way better. But yeah, I don't know. You all make up your own mind. It was like $94 shipped from Japan. Osaka, not Osaka, but Osaka, A-S-A-K-A was the sticker that was on it, and it took Goo Gone and everything else to get it off. And I linseed oiled it. It doesn't feel like it's loosening up or anything like that. Granted, I only split like 4 or 5 rounds on it. But this is just an absolute nutter no-go. I guess if I would have done my due diligence and wrapped it with 550 or something like that, then I probably wouldn't have had that problem. But I also shouldn't have to. A lot of people do that, and that's why they've got those on there. It's basically like an overstrike plate, but I mean, I've overstruck with that, a bunch now, and I don't have any issues. I just don't think that the white oak is the way to go. So I don't know. I'll contemplate. I'll split a little bit more with it, and I got a feeling it had already cracked before I swung it. As soon as I seated that wedge, it cracked. So in my opinion, that was a no-go in and of itself. But now that I've kind of tore it up, I might keep it and rehandle it myself with some hickory. I'm not really sure. But anyway, we'll see. It splits. I mean, if you want something that splits, or if you're doing maybe softwoods, like spruce, a lot of spruce or something like that, it might be the, Doug fir. That might be the ticket. Something that this is going to be harder than the wood. I don't know what the hardness of that Japanese oak is. It may not be, I guess in this instance it doesn't really matter. It didn't, when I hit that hit that hackberry, didn't do anything to it. So I'm wondering if it was just that ash was just too dang hard. So anyway, that's that. It splits. It really is fun to split with. So you just want an axe that's fun to split with. This is a good one. It's almost like perfectly balanced. But anyway, that's a Japanese splitter, just off Amazon. They all seem to be about the same. But anyway, have fun.